Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're going to talk about India's independence from oil and gas imports. So let's dive deep into it. So what exactly is the problem? Well, problem is India is a big nation, and I mean huge nation. And it's like world's largest population, 1.4 billion and climbing. So we are talking some big puppies. And third largest energy consumer, meaning we are drinking energy like there is no tomorrow. So it's huge and it's growing. So we got our independence 78 years ago. However, we are not truly independent because our fuel is foreign and we do not have enough national reserve to even crawl basically. So if these gentlemen wished for, yeah, we would be kaput. We would be kaput. We will be exactly the same place where Japan was after the oil blockade, where they were like, okay, what if I go boom boom America in Pearl Harbor, and the Pearl Harbor was like, okay, you boom boom me, cool, two booms, kaboom. So it's a very serious situation where a country of 1 billion plus people is dependent on something they should not have dependency on. Like, that's not acceptable. You cannot be dependent for some. It's almost like my food is controlled by someone else. It's unwise to say the least. So it's a big problem. Now, recently, if I do not know whether you have seen the Indian news and all that, cooking gas had an issue, so to say. Now, let that be figured. There are two types of chemistry we are talking about, so you must understand. LNG, CNG, liquefied natural gas, compressed natural gas, pipe gas, biogas, they are all methane primarily component, meaning if you take them apart, biogas would be worst, as in it might be as low as like 80%, but LNG, CNG, pipe gases, they are mostly methane, like 90, high 90s, or maybe even 99% methane only. So we are talking about CH4. However, when we are talking about cooking gas in most of the Asia, and I mean China included, cooking gas is generally LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Now, LPG, we generally mix propane and butane, basically heavier hydrocarbon. Why is that? Well, there is a certain uniqueness in that hydrocarbon chemistry, is that we can turn them into liquid even though they are gas at room temperature. And I mean gas, it will be a gas even in Alaska. But it can be liquefied without cooling it if you add pressure. And because of these heavy hydrocarbons, the pressure is not that high, meaning we can achieve it. It's barely 3 bars or 4 bars. And again, you can see the tanks are not that heavy. And not to mention, you can even buy plastic lighters that have butane in them. How the heck it's keeping it intact? It does not require that much pressure. So that's why we generally use LPG for cooking, because it's far easy to transport. Now, one important aspect of biology is that if you have biology, like you have just biomatter on the road, and animal run over and those things, it will decay and it will release CH4. Yeah, you must burn CH4. CH4 is so toxic, so destructive, that if you have a spill of it, people expect you to. Scientists wish you to. Everybody wants you to set it on fire. Meaning there are biogas plants, for some reason, let's just say they had an overproduction of it, or worst case scenario, what most likely happens, generally they ran out of storage space, they have to burn it away. They can't store, let it release. They have to burn it away. It's 20x more powerful of a greenhouse gas than CO2. So it's much better to have 4 CO2, basically actually one molecule, and you'll get 4 water vapor molecule and 1 carbon dioxide molecule. It's much better to have that than have CH4. So we have to do that. Now, India did have this sort of issue back in the old days, like my early years, 1990s. India did try that. And I do not know whether you've been to India at that time or not, or you're familiar with that early history. We were going all in for biogas. And again, it's the same thing. Gases were expensive, fuel was not super cheap. So we wanted to do an attempt where make India self-sufficient using biogas. Unfortunately, we messed up one critical detail. We tried, again, government was willing to give subsidies. They rather not focused on big units. They tried to focus on, we had like a lot of small units. Basically, it's common in India that people have 5-6 cows and they are selling milk. It's not necessary that every milk producer will be like thousands of cows. It's surprisingly common in India. Even nowadays, where you can you can take care of a small village or even just sector. It's quite common. So in those sort of scenario, they were like, okay, what if all these people could just generate their biogas and consume it? Yeah, that's the problem. Physics does not like that. Surface area to volume ratio and control quality issues. You're not going to put a SCADA system if you are just a random individual who does not have that kind of money. So that created a false paradox, meaning we could not get the yield that we should have gotten. The efficiency was low, systems did not run effectively, it failed horrendously, and we kind of gave up. And what was the solution? Solution was this. This is modern India. Basically, people learned the lesson and they're like, okay, rather than making small units, let's have big units. Meaning, instead of consuming the cow dung of that production site, consume of it like from the whole village, like digest the whole village, practically speaking. So now you have big systems. Now you are investing a lot of money. So capital cost does go high, but your yield compensates for it. Because you are dealing with so much gas and so much production, you can invest into quality control instruments, temperature control instruments, better gas storage system, and filtration and compression. And be mindful, we are talking about CH4. So India already has a fleet of vehicles that consume CH4, as in CNG. Tada, this is not only just a cooking gas, now this is a full-fledged fuel for your normal day-to-day commute. That is happening now. The only mistake we did not did this in 1990s. It's not complex, so to say. It could have been done. We just made that critical error. It should have been like, okay, village, we're going to focus on the village as a one unit and then build one plant there, figure it out like what worked, what did not work, how to refine it. And then, okay, go to second village. We would have been like making so much gas. We're like, bro, we good, we got this. So what kind of number we are talking about? Well, our guesstimate, give or take, is conservative side, 33 billion cubic meters annually. Now, if that number does not mean anything to you, don't worry, just think in that way. India's national annual LPG consumption is lower than that, meaning we have more than enough. Like, we good. We should not have a cooking gas crisis under any circumstances. We good, we got this. And it's environmentally friendly and it's carbon neutral. We good, we GG. It's just that we messed it up. Basically, technology is done. That's the good part about it. Technology is done. Few of these plants already, but we need thousands of these. Basically, you have like 10,000 cows, one plant. That's minimum scale, by the way. Some plants are so huge, they require like 100,000 cows feedstock to go into it. The bigger you make it, the more cost effective, more useful it becomes. So Germany also have some big ones, if I'm not mistaken, and those are like, they make so much methane, they are running a turbine jet engine to create electricity. So we just have to scale it up and deploy it on every village, basically. And target point is one plant per 10,000 cow, or like 100,000. The bigger the better. So that's the biggest missed opportunity of India. We could have like really taken care of. And then we come to human poop. While these things are primarily focused on cow dung, human poop is still feces, is still biomaterial, still decays and decomposes into CH4. So that, and food waste, India consumes bonkers amount of it. Heck, we are feeding nations, like I'm not even joking, feeding nations bonkers amount of food now. And if anybody is starving in India, it's because of corruption, not because we do not have enough food. Let that be very clear in your mind. We are no longer in Bengal famine era after World War II. We good. We got this. We have more than enough. Like, our rats are eating equivalent of nations. Not even joking or exaggerating. So we got this. Like, we have more than enough food waste, more than enough human poop, that if we add all of those, and be mindful, you cannot have the same digester that is digesting cow dung in and you put human poop, it will not work. It has to have like dedicated digesters, like one for human poop, one for food waste, one for cow dung, one for chicken, poultry industry. So you have to segregate in that regard, and then you'll get peak output, because microbiome can be fine-tuned for that. It will be enough that you can eliminate cooking gas issue. But then second problem happens. We use LPG because it's super easy. You have a tank, done. But while cities, even moderate town, heck, I'm not, my small town might actually get it very soon. Pipe gas is CH4, so that's an awesome thing. But it's a big infrastructure in expenditure, so only big towns are getting it. So what the hell you gonna do in backwater spaces? LPG is really great for that. Thankfully, because we have so much overproduction, we can do science to it. Basically, we can take methane as a feedstock, convert it into synth gas, send it through a catalyst, and get propane and butane out of it. It's doable. And again, it will be a bit wasteful, but we have more than enough, and it will allow us to keep using our infrastructure that we have developed over almost 70 years. So more than enough. And again, if we really milk all the sources, we will reduce even the, LPG we're gonna eliminate. CNG we're gonna reduce significantly. Why? CNG is exponentially higher, large amount of it is being consumed because we have shifted our vehicles from petrol, diesel to CNG. So that's the cooking gas side of things. Now, one of the core aspect is crude oil. Gas we can take care of. Like if India suffers a gas issue, we done. There is no scenario where cooking gas should be an issue. Crude oil, on the other hand, it's the backbone of modern, everything. So it's power fundamentally, and not to mention this was the same case in World War II. So it is big, and there is, as of now, no technology known to man that can replace it, as in like 2026, nothing that can replace it. So if you like, okay, what if I electrify? You will destroy any and all nations' grid if you try to touch diesel. Oh, and let the figure, there's a lot of people who fall prey to European brain damage, where it's like, okay, this European nation is so so small, everything is awesome, everything is nice. It's like, dude, they have cars, but they do not have a single car factory. Where do you think this car is being made? Ah, China. Oh, they do not have any pharmaceutical company that is actually doing the manufacturing of the medicine. Where is it coming from? Oh, India. They do not have any massive clothes manufacturing. Where the heck that is coming from? Oh, Bangladesh. Oh, they do not have a ginormous EU recycling waste system. Where that is coming from? Africa. So, that's the reason why I always ask you, always pay attention to top 10 nations in terms of population. That will give you true picture of humanity rather than just like, segregated, isolation, blind stupidity. We cannot do that. Flat out. Flat out. Neither America, neither China, nor India, which is like, I'm talking about almost 3 billion people at this point in time, none of them can replace basically petrol even. I'm just practically talking, even petrol consumption we cannot replace with electric. Diesel, if we touch our grids, are like, bro, we done, we good, we out, flat out. And you need proof of that? Look into crude oil consumption. One person fought me and he had at least one nugget of smart idea. It's like, oh, what if the crude oil consumption worldwide is growing because the uplifting nations are consuming more, like African nations? Here's the deal. That's why pay attention to China's consumption, USA's consumption, and India's consumption, or top 10 nation, all of them are growing. And their populations are not growing. That's why. It's just hype. Electric vehicles are just smokes and mirrors. They are not cooked yet. They are basically 3-month baby that we have, like, C-section. It's like they need more time. We could have easily solved that problem, but we rushed it. So fundamentally, we can't. So anybody tells you, it's like, bro, they do not understand what 100 kilowatt continuous consumption means. Like transformers that are needed for fast charging trucks, yeah, they are not like, hello Amazon, 24-hour delivery. No, they are like 2-hour wait time in China. So let that be very clear. You cannot electrify, assuming you have magical batteries. Another aspect is hydrogen. It's like, okay, what if hydrogen? Well, again, most idiots never read about on hydrogen, so they do not know that we have sorted everything about hydrogen in 1833. Hydrogen is weak. It's lightest element on the periodic table. It will not give you the power that you seek unless it's bounded to carbon. We have known this, and it's inefficient as hell. Like if you have electrical energy, use the electrical energy. Do not take that electrical energy, split water, then compress that hydrogen gas, then send it to basically transport vehicle, then consume it by converting it into water. So much conversion equals wastage. Like you would be lucky to get 30 to 40% energy out, meaning for every kilowatt of energy consumed, you're gonna get only 30% of it. 40 if I'm being way too generous. 45 if you're like, okay, what if we have platinum, quantum, this and that? Yeah, so you're basically throwing away power if you try to do that. We've been this, and that's the 1833 milestone. We have known about hydrogen in late 1700s, and by 1833 we were building hydrogen fuel cell. They used to be called gas batteries. We know this, like done, sorted. We built Apollo mission on hydrogen fuel cell, space shuttle on hydrogen fuel cell, rockets on hydrogen systems. And then we are like, yeah, this is BS, let's throw it away. Apollo versus Orion, hydrogen, psh. And everybody is like, hydrogen is the future. It's like, bro, it's ancient history. We had this before we had lead acid battery. Let that sink in. So you can't. Any Tom, Dick and Harry says that you can do something with that. Again, should we figure out how to make hydrogen with electricity? Of course. Why? It's a consumable item in a lot of industry. Heck, even crude oil consumes hydrogen for purification process. Steel industry consumes it. There are a lot of industry that consumes it. and it would be really better to make hydrogen from clean energy and water rather than methane. Again, that's another consumption of methane, convert it into steam reforming and then tada, hydrogen. So definitely, we've been there. We've been there. We had made planes, trucks, trains, every Tom, Dick and Harry thing, and then we had just quietly shut it down, and then you forgot about it, and then again 30 years later, every 30 years, hydrogen, hydrogen. So that would be very clear. Now, what about growing fuel? Rudolph Diesel, Henry Ford, two gentlemen of the engine era. Henry Ford basically commercialized, quote unquote, combustion engine petrol based, and Rudolph Diesel made the diesel engine. Both of them were basically running on that grown fuel. There was no diesel at the time of Rudolph Diesel. There was nothing, like there was no something, hey, I want diesel. It did not exist. It's named after him. The fuel is named after him because it used to run on diesel engine. Diesel engine is technically a compression engine, and it used to run it on peanut oil. Oil, basically, food oil. So let that be very clear. So why don't we just grow the fuel if our forefathers figured it out? Well, here's the deal. Our consumption is too goddamn high. And if you try to do that, you will convert every single acre of farmable land into fuel, and you still run short, and now you will no longer have food. So fundamentally, and it's too goddamn slow. Like, it takes a sweet time. It's like, oh, it's gonna grow. Like, it's not like, oh, you plant a crop and it's like 4 days later. There is no 4 days later. There's not even 40 days later. It's like months later. So fundamentally, it cannot be done. You cannot grow crops because our consumption is high. Science is sorted. The Mark 1 fuel was basically corn, sugarcane, basically anything you can do to make ethanol or vegetable oil. And Mark 2 was algae biofuel. Mark 3, which was final solution for humanity, seaweed biofuel. So we've known that, like we have known that. That's why I said, like, there is no replacement for crude oil. And global crude oil consumption is only going up. In China, which never shuts up about how much electric vehicle they are making, it's like, bro, why your petrol consumption is going up year by year? Why, who is drinking your petrol? That's the main question. Like, I know trucks are not consuming petrol. Mining trucks are not drinking it. Who the hell is drinking your petrol, man? So fundamentally, only time it went down is 2021 in the pandemic era. That's the only time it down. And realistically, we can't do this because if we keep doing this, eventually the oil wells will run dry. That will happen. That's a fact. Second is, we're gonna cook ourselves far before that. Again, I'm young enough where I used to remember our schools used to shut down if the temperature was too hot, as in like 41 degrees Celsius, something like that. Now our average temperature is 50 degrees Celsius. We don't even care about it. And here's the deal. If air temperature keeps touching 60, 65 degrees Celsius, you're dead. Like, that hot air going inside your lungs are like, bro, I'm not for this world. I'm not designed to run in a human furnace. So fundamentally, we have to solve this. Thankfully, India has a solution. To be fair, almost every country has somebody smart enough trying to solve this. It's just that in India, we call it C6, this company, Seaweed biofuel, and they are trying to make it into scale. Science is sorted. Let that be very clear. Science, how the heck you're going to do this, that part is sorted. They are just figuring out how to basically scale it up. Meaning, we know the science. Now let's build the engineering tool that allows us to scale it up. So we have known this from as early as Aquatic Species Program. This was done in USA after the bitch slap of oil embargo, 1978. And again, the whole PDF is available. If you want to go through it, you can go through it. Corn will not work, sugarcane will not work, everything you can think of will not work. The only thing was algae could work, because again, algae has even higher yield than seaweed, but algae requires fresh water. It could not work. We do not have enough fresh water on earth to feed that. See. So that's why. Now, C6 started to answer that problem. Now, be mindful, they were very early on, like 2010 kind of early on. Nobody at that time was taking it very seriously. So they pivoted. And their pivot was very clever. They're like, hey, seaweed is being consumed worldwide for many things. Like, pharmaceutical industry will consume this like there is no tomorrow. Oh, you know, it's also used in ice creams. And they made fertilizer additives with this. A lot of things, boosters, so to say. And people were like, shut up, take money. So they're like, okay, we're going to use that to figure out how to do that. Now, most seaweed farming is generally done in the Pacific region, Asia region. Now, how we do it is generally on shallow ponds, so to say, as in like where sea is, like where you can stand. You are in sea, but you can stand. And you're like, okay, wait a minute, that does not mean that much surface area. Yeah, that's the problem. That's what they are solving. Is like, how the heck you're gonna have hundreds of square kilometer of it? It has to be automated. It has to be boat based. You cannot have a person doing it. So that's what they have created and patented, the rope system that you are seeing, that they can lay down and have this harvester that will go collect, process, and replant all at the same go. So that's what their USP is. Because again, seaweed is normal, not genetically engineered. You could genetically engineer it or just increase the surface area, which is much cheaper. So that's what they're doing. And again, their agriculture product is sold in 25 countries. And let me put it this way, if you can name a country generally out of your memory, they are selling it there also, and people are loving it, including Japan. So that's how they're getting the data, sorting the science and chemistry, and funding the development of this system. And they already have 1 square kilometer farm sorted. Like that's the furthest I've seen for deep sea. There are a lot of much larger surface area, but in shallow waters. This is the only one that is for deep water, meaning you can go deep. So core is good, and this plant is in Indonesia. It's like, why? Indonesia is the primary exporter of seaweed to USA. So it's a good start. And again, economics is sorted out, science is sorted out, and even Indian oil companies are pouring some money into this. So there is serious potential in it. And again, I do not want just one company. I want multiple, at least 3 to 5, trying to solve this. It can be done. Science is sorted. It is doable. And very happy that somebody is actually there. Again, I did not cover them because I always saw them like as agricultural products. Like, no, they wanted fuel. They needed money to go through that. So they're like, okay, self-funded. Now we come to the most important part, bitching. Now, if you think it's hard or costly to go into seaweed, you are the problem. Seaweed does not have you are the problem. Because here's the, it took 150 years to reach a point where you have your normal engine that just lasts this long. Like you remember, like people used to like, starting a car was a difficult task. There was a tiny portion of it is because the fuel was not that great. Right now, your modern fuel has so many additives and purity so high that it just works. That was not always the case. It took 150 years. Oh, and be mindful. Be mindful. Even today, right now, take any company that you know as an oil company, Chevron, Hindustan Petroleum, whatever, British Petroleum, whatever have you. All of them, go YOLO, all of them burn more than $1 billion annually just on R&D. So people have this idea, it's like, oh, seaweed is gonna require a lot of research. Yeah, you are doing that for crude constantly. It's not free, nor it's getting cheaper. And seaweed will become cheaper. Why? Because A, it's not a limited resource, it's cycling it. It's solar energy converted into liquid fuel. So you're not gonna run out of sun, nor you're gonna run out of surface area, nor you're gonna run out of fresh water. You're good. And nor it's competing with land. And again, the output is exact hydrocarbon that your whole civilization is designed to use. So fundamentally, we know that we can do this. And again, we have gone through this whole process. Science is sorted. We have to just go through it again. Now, we went for basically hydrocarbon for crude oil. Now we have to do this. Would all the knowledge will transfer? Of course, it will transfer. We are talking about hydrocarbon. Knowledge will transfer. It's just that it will require some tweaking. It's like instead of having this sort of separation, we have to use different kind of separation. Of course. But it will work. And again, bitching is just bitching. Or ignorance that you think like, oh, crude oil is just like tada. No, it's not tada. We have to work a lot. Where do you think most of the chemists go in this world? Fundamentally. And physics is fixed. This is another delusion that people are like, this graph will never, ever, ever change. Like hydrogen was there, it will remain there. Methane was here, methane will remain here. Methanol, propane, this is physics based. Density, megajoule per liter, it will not change. It's like, oh, advancement. It's like, it's physics. It will never change. It's almost like saying, what if in the future lead became lighter than aluminum? Then it won't be lead. It's like physics will not change. The periodic table position will not change. So it will barely have 8 megajoule per liter if you're talking in liquid form. Barely 4 to 6 if you're talking about compressed system. So you can't do that. Like, we have tried it. Like, again, that's the whole point. We have done it. Like, Germany was like very smart. They're like, okay, what if we F the public? We open a train in 2020. We're going to run this hydrogen train and then we're going to shut it down in 2020. When I try to find the report, they have to give a report why they clustered it up. They're like, it's behind a paywall and it's in German. I'm like, why it's not in English? It should be English and German. Why it's not that? I'm like, F the public. And then it's like, oh, you have to pay us to tell you why we F'd it up. So it's anybody who read history knows this. Like if you don't, it's you. Ancient technology. So, and this another aspect, ethanol. Ask USA. Like USA should have free food. Like food, people should not ask about food in USA. Like it has very tiny population, very large surface area, and blessed with surprisingly large amount of fertile land. Why the heck food is expensive in USA? Oh, they smoked cocaine known as basically corn. They're like, what if everybody started planting corn? Why? Ethanol. Now they can't undo it because again, the whole infrastructure, whole agriculture sector has been, tailor-made just for corn, and all other sectors suffered, which duh. And now they're like, food is expensive. I'm not joking. India has shipped massive amount of rice, a type of rice, to USA. Rice. Not even joking. So, and again, same story is in Brazil also. But again, instead of corn, they have sugarcane. So same thing. What about battery? Well, if a battery can fly a jumbo jet far enough, you do not want to be in it. I'm sorry, I have a very bad cough. So what does it all mean? Well, you have to understand this. Life is suffering. Suffering is inevitable. If anybody is telling you otherwise, either they are salesmen or they hate you. So suffering is inevitable, but dependency is not. For example, these are our forefathers, Indian forefathers, and they fought against Britishers and they risked their life. A lot of them lost their life. So it's not like hee hee ha ha. No, a lot of blood, sweat and tears were spent. They suffered, but they chose willingly that we should suffer in order to liberate this country from UK, and output would be a free nation. Yes, we'll suffer. Yes, we'll struggle, but we'll grow eventually, brick by brick, day by day. Right now, India has more than enough food. Like most people have no idea how much food production we have. And I'm not even talking about spice. Don't compare that. Like put the whole planet on one side, spice, Iraqis will run out of spice, how much spice we make. Like, don't. So we good. And again, what about, hunger in India? Hunger is not in India. What we have is corruption. And be mindful, USA also had that. So corruption is our issue, not food production. We good. It's not Bengal famine anymore. We good. We got this. So fundamentally, if public supports Hyperloop, Indian government will burn money on Hyperloop. If public supports a solar roadway, people will burn money on solar roadway. If people support stupid things, government will do it. So it's on public to be like, no, give me seaweed biofuel. If public does not, public is the one that's going to suffer the most. I love that hydrogen train in Germany is like, yeah, shh. So this was my presentation on basically the whole, how the heck you make a nation independent from oil and gas imports. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show my extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.